Okay, wait. Start over. Hold on. Starting the stream. Okay. Now that's better. Oh, I should put this tag, Techno 20 mil in the tag as well.
I've been in here for 3 days now. No sign of people. No hope of rescue.
Both can fire with
During
first.
this time, I've begun to question. Why am I here? What is my purpose here? Inside this tree? Was I put in this tree by a greater power? Or was it my destiny to be stuck inside this tree?
Face cam.
Do I really have free will?
She might think this is unnecessary, but excuse me, I'm the one teaching you here. Do not question my method. It's important to be humble when people give you compliments online. I know. I'm kidding. Alright, should we ruin Grob's house?
Do it, Dave.
In game, you need to have a good kill-death ratio in real life. That's a joke. Don't demonetize me, YouTube. Yes, Fly Hacker defeated. Gonna need stronger hacks than that to end this win streak. Yeah. And he walked off the map. Welcome to Skywars. And the player began a new dream. 10 million subscribers, baby. That's
I'll have this open actually. Oh, that artist, I love them. The one with the comic. Wow. I've seen that one before. What's with the mannequin? Oh, the bugs.
Welcome, everybody, to Technoblade's spectacular 20 million substravaganza. Let me just say,
my
when a
left ear
bell
likes
rings,
those.
many people just look at it. Others know it's a call to greatness. For years, one name answered that call louder than any other. Today, it rings not in battle, but in tribute. If you scroll down, if you look under the, like on YouTube, it's got the window, and then it's got the title, and then it says Technoblade. You can see it says 20M subscribers, 20 million subscribers. What a feat. Who doesn't want to celebrate that? But Alex didn't start with 20 million subscribers. It took a lot of grit, analytics, and sarcasm. He started his channel in October of 2013, and few were lucky enough to see those early days.
Hello, I'm Technoblade's mom, and I'm here today to talk to you about some of Alex's experiences in his early years.
The bell in the background, I love that.
Helped form him into the eventual Minecraft legend he became. So one of the things people have asked me about is Alex's musical experience. Did he play an instrument? And he did. He played the violin. The whole experience turned out to be a big deal for him. When Alex was in elementary school, they asked him to pick an instrument in 4th grade, and he came home and announced he wanted to play the violin. I was flabbergasted. I've played the piano since childhood, but I had no experience with real stringed instruments, and I didn't think I could help him much. Plus, it turns out violin is the second hardest instrument to learn to play. But Alex had made up his mind. He insisted, so that's the instrument he chose. But at first, he did not learn very easily. Somehow, he didn't believe he really had to practice at home, and that the once-a-week group lesson wasn't enough to teach him to make a good sound. His wonderful teacher started a lunchtime tutoring session for the kids falling behind, and when I discovered he was in it and found out he really isn't practicing at all, we changed his routine at home. From then on, it was the requested 15 minutes every day. Alex would watch the timer covertly, but he started really learning. I got some music flashcards, and the first 3 minutes of practice, he agreed to do the flashcards with me things like treble clef, quarter notes, eventually the notes themselves. But Alex was insistent he could not learn to sight read and didn't want me to teach him to do it. And I agreed not to push him on it. His playing picked up pretty quickly. I learned later that about the flashcards. The reason he agreed to do that was he felt like it got
I'm surprised he managed to keep it.
Practice. Even then,
he never mentioned that he played the violin.
Strategy too. I was slowly and secretly introducing sight reading.
I've never heard about that before.
He had moved back into the regular class at the very bottom of the second violin group.
Didn't know he played an instrument at all.
After a couple months of steady work, he found himself almost accidentally actually reading along the music as he played, playing much better, and actually enjoying it. That's when it turned out he had an unexpected talent for playing violin. And in the next few months, by the end of the year, he was moved to the first violin group. And at the end of the school year, at the concert, he was presented with one of the few awards that they gave, Most Improved. And at that concert, he was presented with this little plaque for Most Improved. This made a big impression on 9-year-old Alex. I congratulated him on his achievement, and he shared he had learned how to get this award. Hard work, I asked, steady practice? No, he said, first do really badly, then do well. That impresses people. That was not the lesson I was hoping for. The only other awards given were to the students who had accumulated the most practice hours during the years. And these were much more elaborate awards. They were nice-looking medals, hung on pretty ribbons, and Alex noticed those and liked those. So first he asked me, Mom, can I have private lessons? And I arranged those. Then he asked, hey, those lessons, that time counts toward my practice accumulation, right? I checked and they did. And his initial plan for the next year for all of 5th grade, he was going to nail that award. He was going to practice 2 hours a day, which is well over the 15-minute requirement. And he actually started that, but then eventually he worked down to practicing 1 hour a day. His playing improved so much, he was asked to do a solo at the end of the year concert, and he chose Scarborough Fair. I had some Simon and Garfunkel music combined with the folk song Canticle.
I don't know what that one is.
And we arranged it so I played the pretty Scarborough Fair melody, and he came in with the haunting descant of Canticle on the violin. It was beautiful. And the whole experience led to him enjoying playing throughout middle school and through most of high school. Also, by the way, after his solo, they presented the awards that year, and he got the coveted Practice Award Medal. Alex really liked stories. He liked hearing stories, and eventually he liked telling stories. And part of that came from, early on, he became a real reader.
Yeah,
and
you
by
liked
that I mean a
too.
person who reads a lot for fun. When he was in 3rd grade, a
knew
relative
about
was
it.
talking to me
I never
about
heard
him
him
and-
talk
and
about it
said,
much.
does he have the reading bug yet? And I said, no, I don't think so. They said, it's too late if he doesn't have it
Knew
by
it
now.
existed.
I disagreed, and I went to the local bookstore and found 2 series books I thought he would enjoy. One was Chris DeLacy's Last Dragon Chronicles, which Alex liked and he read, but the other series, John Flanagan's Ranger's Apprentice series, practically became an obsession. This story, set in medieval times, which was a big win, revolves around a kid growing up in a medieval village castle environment. The character Will, who's coincidentally Alex's same age at the time, like many of the boys, really wants to be a knight. He wants to wield a sword, ride battle horses, go to combat. He is smart and athletic, but very small for his age. He's actually very good at climbing the castle walls to steal sweets. But at the big day when the recruiting is done, he's turned down as too small to be a knight. But someone recruits him to be a ranger. And these rangers were forest warriors who learned to track, shoot bow and arrows, do scouting, sneak around in the woods, and do some sword work. Will starts this program, and the series lasts for many books. I think the reason Alex really liked this series was partially because of the setting in medieval times and the idea of sword fighting, but particularly because this young boy Will got to learn all these cool skills. Also in the book, Will was assigned an old horse named Tug, and Tug was hilarious. He was always giving him a sardonic glance if he thought Will was making a mistake, or huffing out a sarcastic whinny if Will seemed to be getting too big for his britches. This really tickled Alex. He really likes humor in his stories. So he read the first 3 books, and then for the next several years,
the real speed of the song?
waiting each year for the new book to come out.
It's surprisingly
now, a fun
fast.
part of this was that a year and a half after Alex started this series, he ran across a side ad while playing a computer game. And this ad was to take a chance on a lottery to win a place in a ranger's apprentice camp in the summer. He thought it was a scam, but he brought it to me. I looked it up. It was a real camp, and here it was only January, and it was for the summer. It was in Austin, Texas. And I called them, and the camp was already full. Plus, it was a day camp. It's not an overnight camp, so he'd have to be dropped off every morning and picked up. So I put him on a waiting list, and he was number 11. He really wanted to go. All spring he asked me about it. I checked every month. No one dropped out, no movement on the waiting list. Finally, 3 days before the camp was to start in June, I called one last time. Magic happened. Someone had dropped out 20 minutes before I called. They offered Alex the slot. I hastily made plane reservations, found a motel, and we went. The experience started poorly. Our flight was delayed and then canceled. Then we got into Austin in the motel after midnight. So Alex was short of sleep that first morning. Plus, like in the book, it was mostly outdoors and in the woods, and June in Austin, very, very humid. Also, they forgot to give him a water bottle. And the backup water bottle I had brought turned out to be cracked, so that first day he got dehydrated. However, they did give him the green cloak that they made for all the kids. And best of all, they brought out the padded swords. So we still have this. It's a little banged up now. He loved the cape, but he adored the sword. The first time they brought it out, they asked, would somebody like to be in a mock demo? Alex's hand apparently went right up, and the instructor told me later, you know, he was so into it, instead of just doing it for 10 seconds, he said he and I had a mock duel for like 3 minutes. From then on, Alex was fully engaged. He had a great time. And
That's not a very long time, is it?
He played with the sword till he beat all the duct tape off it. I had to rewrap it twice, and he never got rid of the cape. He loved the sneaking around lessons in the woods, and I believe this and the sword fighting influenced his Minecraft strategies later on.
Hi everyone, you haven't seen me before. I'm Alex's first cousin, and we grew up together. We share a birthday exactly 3 years apart to the day. Growing up, we would spend a lot of holidays together, and I remember this one Christmas where I was about 10, so he must have been 13. We had finished unwrapping the presents an hour or two earlier, and I remember seeing Alex in a room all by himself off to the side, playing something on his iPad. My mom asked me if I could go over and talk to him, since I was the only other cousin that was interested in video games. I remember going over, sitting down, trying to figure out what he was up to, asking what he was playing. He showed me a screen with a game called Minecraft, and he showed me how you can punch blocks to get resources. I remember seeing the excitement in his eyes as he showed me the house that he had built, the cool things he'd been able to craft, and the world that he was able to explore. I had never heard of the game, and I'd never seen Alex so excited about anything. At that time, he hadn't started his YouTube channel yet, and he had no idea what this game would do for him, for his community, for his family. I don't think he would believe it now.
I just kind of wanted to take a sec to talk about how I met Techno. We met through a mutual friend. If you're watching this, you know who you are. In high school, in our senior year, in our government class. And immediately, I was kind of surprised at how Alex was such a weird combination of like incredibly funny, but very quiet and kind of stuck to himself. It took a few months for me to even learn that he was Technoblade. I think at the time he had like 300,000 subscribers, which is obviously still an insane amount, but nowhere near what he ended up at before he passed or what his channel is at now. He was just so fun to be around. During our senior year, I took a trip to go visit a family member in another state. After I learned that he was techno, he had a catalog of like 200 videos already. And whenever I had downtime, I just watched his videos. Not because it was like, I want to be a fan of him, but I was like, this guy's really funny, you know? And that was one of my favorite things about him, was just his genuine sense of humor. He turned anything into something that could be funny. In our government class, we were in kind of a little friend group. There was about 4 of us, and Alex was always the one popping jokes first. Whenever we had a group project, and every time it was a mess, we still found, the comedy in it.
Back in what must have been 2014 to 2015, I remember my school friend telling me about the best gear in the world, Technoblade. Back then, knowing nothing about him, I had no clue about just how much he would inspire me in the future. I was never that good at school. I couldn't keep my attention in class, and I had a lot of difficulty figuring out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and what I wanted to study after high school. But watching Techno helped me answer that question. I wanted to do what he was doing. I wanted to keep playing Minecraft. But he never stopped inspiring me past that point. I've tried multiple times to adjust myself to the ever-changing YouTube algorithm, and ended up getting burned out. The thing that always gets me out of that headspace is remembering Techno built his entire channel while always staying true to himself. And that helps me a lot. I've stopped trying to twist my content into shapes it's not supposed to be, because I had a strong example of someone who was just unapologetically himself.
My favorite Technoblade video has got to be the one where he's talking about dropping out of college to do YouTube full time. It popped up in my subbox at a very serendipitous time for me, because like him, things were starting to take off. I was making money doing the thing I loved, and hearing him talk about all his stresses, making such a huge decision, taking such a big plunge in his life, really spoke to me, because he was taking a risk. Granted, it was a very calculated risk, which I think is on brand for him, but a risk nonetheless. Despite not being entirely sure of his decision and his future, he decided to go in head first.
Hi, I'm so honored to be part of this video. I became really good friends with Technoblade. As many of you may know, I started off as a Technoblade fangirl. A story for another time, but it is definitely a very, very unique way to become friends with someone, I must say. My favorite memory with Technoblade is, it's such a hard question because he's just such a great guy, but there were times where we would get into call and unintentionally it would be 9 hours later. Like, we sat in call for 9 hours or even longer, and we would just be talking about everything in life. Everything. There was nothing off limits, and it was just such a refreshing and deep conversation every single time we talked. I know to the audience, we had this very fun dynamic of like, oh, he cyberbullies me, and it's a very fun and interesting thing to look back on. I love watching all the videos and compilations that people have made, but truly, like, our friendship and our conversations we'd have off camera were so different and meaningful, and it's a very, very special memory for me. Everything, all of it. I just look back on it very fondly.
After Alex passed, we had the privilege of learning about his community, learning about all of you, your grief, your compassion, and the energy that you have and the ideas about how to make the world a better place. We wanted to scale up the efforts that Alex had led that so many of you had contributed to. To that end, we founded the One of Us Global Foundation. We needed someone with decades of experience in nonprofit leadership. Stacy?
One of Us strives to break down social and economic barriers facing young people, like many of you today, and build a global community where all of you are authentically connected and where diversity is celebrated, not feared. We do this through mentorship, training, funding, and building global networks. And we provide tools, resources, and love so that young people can change landscapes and make the world a better place, just the way Technoblade did. What makes One of Us unique is that we not only help provide young people a way to lift up their voices and realize their dreams in their communities, but we do that in our own organization by ensuring young people are the leaders and decision makers, and by ensuring we have a culture where they feel they can bring their creative ideas forward and where they truly belong. For one example of that, Our inaugural program, Potato Seeds, was created and fully developed by 2 of our youth leaders, while the more seasoned folks in our organization provided advice and support. I'm deeply inspired by all of our team members, including A's, one of our founding Youth Advisory Committee members. Take it away, A's.
I joined the One of Us Global Foundation because I wanted to help create a space of love and wholeness for young people, especially when we're in a world right now that's maybe a little bit more trying. Over the last 2 years, I have felt lucky to be able to help create these amazing projects that are helping empower young people, like the Potato Seeds Initiative and the upcoming podcast, where young people are really being empowered to share their thoughts, their feelings, for us to hear their voices, and for their brilliant ideas on how to change the world and come together. It takes a collective of diverse minds and thinking to create really positive impact. I know everyone skips past the ads on YouTube. I do it too, but hear me out, please. Maybe instead of grabbing that $5 cup of coffee on your way to work tomorrow, you donate those $5 to us. We are ever expanding as a foundation to help more young people and their brilliant ideas.
Food.
Together, we can change the world.
Thank you, A's.
Or unnecessary food.
The One of Us Global Foundation is funded by grants from Stacy and me, and by our annual Festival of Voices, which many of you have contributed to. We do have a small number of paid staff members, but it's mostly a volunteer organization.
I understand.
And no one in my family draws a salary. Stacy works herself to the bone. Okay, well, you do work very hard. Stacy works very hard on the foundation, and she's not drawing a salary, just so you know. Anyway, happy birthday, Alex.
Happy birthday.
Everyone reveres Technoblade today,
like all warm inside.
But now it can be told he had a hidden dark side as well. I'm here to rip the lid off the idea that Technoblade was wonderful in every way, and to show you the dark, dirty secrets that will change your view of him forever. This is the dark side of Technoblade. When he ran out of toilet paper, he'd get a new roll out of this cabinet. But would he put it in the holder? No. When I told him to close the cabinet door when he was done with it, he would say, "Why? I'm just going to open it again next time I need something." Before the wars of potatoes and the various SMPs, there was Hypixel. Sky Wars, Bed Wars, different kinds of wars. Anyone who joined a lobby with Alex was about to have their streak obliterated. All while he made his dry comments. Sorry to all the tryhards that he upset.
Hey Technoblade, Simon here, also known as Hypixel. Congrats on 20 million subscribers. I remember about 10 years ago giving you the YouTube rank for reaching 20,000 subscribers.
I swear to God, if it's a dirt shack, I'm gonna flip it. Wait, what? Oh my God, what?
Your reaction was a highlight I'll never forget. You were just getting started back then, but we all knew you were someone that would do great things, and you sure did.
Listen up, I'll be honest. This took me way too long to write. I wish I could tell you I have some epic, heartwarming tale about my brother, something that would make you cry and then subscribe out of sheer emotional manipulation.
Brother?
But no, I don't have that. I don't even have a story where I save him from a burning building or something. All I've got are the little things, the experiences, the memories, and me, a random stranger you've never heard about until now.
I'll never forget the time when I first found out about Technoblade. This is all the way back when Skywars was in its golden age. I walked into my brother's room and he's laying on the floor watching a Skywars video. And I just hear this guy going around Skywars and he's just telling people frog facts.
If you want to get good at frog, you got to learn more about frog. Did you guys know?
I love this video.
Can leap up to 20 times their body weight.
It was absurd. All the while he's going around dressed as a frog. Like he's got the frog skull on instead of a helmet, and he's just destroying players. Like he's making it look easy.
I think my first video I ever saw of him, he was playing Skywars, and he was just talking about, like, I don't know what it was. It was like Greek history, Roman history. I cannot even remember, but it was some random subject, and just discussing it within like his audience and just talking to them and talking to people, and it was so entertaining. That was was like the beginning.
He was definitely the most unique and entertaining creator that I had ever seen in Skywars so far. And I'm pretty sure I didn't get anything else done for the rest of the day because I was just binge watching techno videos.
My name is Josh, otherwise known as Boffy on YouTube, and Technoblade is the whole reason my channel exists. That's not an exaggeration, I'm not hyping that up for this video. I would not have gotten into YouTube if it was not for Technoblade. And dude, in the beginning,
That's
when I
cool.
tell you I was a Technoblade clone, that is not an exaggeration. I was a shameless copy in the beginning. I think it's common to take inspiration from your favorite creators, but this was plagiarism. I just stole his personality. Like, there's jokes that I worked
This lighting
just
is horrible.
stole. I'm sorry. I like to think I've branched out like at least a little bit since then. Probably not. And it's weird because I never met him. Barely even spoke to him. We did like
This lighting is so bad.
and yet he's had this.
Oh my god, yes,
profound
my
impact
mom
on my life.
was
It's
what?
November 22nd, 2020. The time, 12:02 p.m. After weeks of pestering, and I mean non-stop, relentless pestering, I finally convinced my brother to play Minecraft with me. Now keep in mind, at this point, I have zero experience to my name. I don't even have my own Minecraft account. So what does he do? He hands me one of his alt accounts like some benevolent god. Unfortunately, that Minecraft account is now lost to time and space itself, thanks to the great Minecraft migration of 2021.
My name is Jake, or the Best Ginger 13, as some people know me on YouTube.
Hey guys, Huawei here. Back in 2013
What?
to about
Wait,
2017, I played way too much Minecraft Hunger Games.
Yeah,
Minecraft
yeah.
UHC.
I was a part of the
What?
Hypixel community.
I know
and
this
the
guy
UHC
too.
community,
They
which
played
Techno
Bedwars
was always,
together.
like, proximal to that.
I was kind of go-to guy back then to learn from.
Holy
you know how everyone
shit.
uses the fishing rod and everyone is trying to light you up on fire with the flint and steel or lava bucket in PvP? I'm the guy that you can blame for that. I am so sorry. I'm not saying I invented it. I just made it look cool.
Everybody in that little square of people, like, everybody kind of watched their own videos, would comment little snarky things on each other's videos.
Little did I know that this fan
Best
of
player
mine with a
right now.
crown, wearing a Minecraft pigskin, leaving funny comments on my videos would eventually become the king of Minecraft YouTube.
It felt like a very small, tight-knit community. Techno had commented on a couple of my videos. I commented on his. It was like this kind of push and pull. It feels a little bit like dating in a way. Like, and then eventually I followed him on Twitter and he followed me back. And then I just messaged him, hey, like, would you want to record sometime? Because we both liked each other's videos. I think we liked each other's like style of humor. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. Sure. He was saying that he had been binging Game of Thrones at the time, so he wasn't able to do it until a different time.
You know, to me, he was the Hypixel king. You know, he started playing Blitz survival games after realizing that, you know, you can't really dominate the MCSG server because your goat is still around. I'm joking.
We would hop on random Skywars games, and for context, I was like kind of a Skywars noob. Like my main thing was UHC, and I was pretty good at UHC, so like he would school me in any sort of Hypixel game, like even the most random stuff, a weird like racing game or like a random superhero game that they had, not even the main games.
Yeah, Smash Heroes.
Techno, we did our own thing. We had our own
I can try hard any game.
Consistently played on, and we were kind of like rivals.
We would talk a lot behind the camera as well, and he was, I want to say, almost exactly the same on camera as off. I mean, he was maybe a little more reserved and quiet. I never knew if he was being serious about anything. He would always have random quips about just random stuff we were talking about. Like, for instance, he went on this super long tirade. There was this YouTuber in our community called Huawei. He would randomly just like disappear, and people would like say that he went to the sun. One day Techno was he just sent me this like, I don't know, it must have been 10 pages of messages of him just
he made me believe that Huawei had completely
like
quit.
referencing all these tweets tweets. Like he was like writing
I
an
thought
English
he had
essay
completely
about
quit
why
because of
Huawei was a vampire. Like, because
Technoblade.
he would always say he was bad at PvP when he had cold hands. There was so much, and it was so hilarious.
I don't think we've ever spoken before, but we both knew who we were. We both knew each other through content creation and growing up on this game called Minecraft.
At the time, I didn't even know how to respond because I was just laughing my ass off during the whole thing. And he somehow connected it to Harambe at the end of it. We would talk about anime, and I'm big into the Myers-Briggs personality test. He was an INTP, I'm an INTJ, so I like connected with him on that level.
My favorite video from Techno is probably Hypixel Olympics 3 because I was a fangirl for him, and I remember one time years ago he tweeted asking people to join Speed UHC for a video, and so I did.
Oh, it's her!
Oh no! Oh no! Hannah P.
She's here to make sure the Zyper Techno
That's
collab
Skippy?
finally happens.
The only
Oh,
way
Cypher.
he knew me at that point was from the fan account I had, so that is why his reaction was what it was. I love looking back on that video. I remember when it came out, actually, my Wi-Fi was down and I had a limited cellular plan, so I used all my data to watch it because I knew that I was going to be in it because he had tweeted that, and I was so excited to watch it.
Our recordings together with me, Hannah, and Techno, like they were so fun. We had so much fun doing those, and I felt like me and Techno and Hannah always had like a level of on-camera chemistry.
Welcome, guys. We're playing Bed Wars. Ginger's here because he has subs. Hannah's here because she's a girl. Views away.
Really well worded.
Thanks. I strive for honesty in my commentary.
He's here because he has them. She's
That's
here
like
because
the
she's a
only thing you're
girl.
good for.
It's pretty rare to really be able to like push yourself to like have comedic moments like naturally like we just would. And you know, I think that's probably more about Techno than me. Like he's just a hilarious guy, and he works off of other people really well. It always made for great content and lots of fun. Like some of the most fun content I've ever made.
What's my favourite memory with Technoblade? Well, we've got to go back to 2017 when Bed Wars was all the rage, and I was obsessed with watching his live streams on YouTube. Now, I used to watch for his skills, but also his very dry sense of humour, which you don't really tend to get with Americans. I find it's more of a British thing. He used to go on about stabbing orphans and getting the coins, and that was all that mattered to him.
This is the second worst thing that has happened to these orphans in their lives.
Some of the Bed Wars challenges we did together was absolutely hilarious. We used to record for hours on camera and off camera, and he was always up for whatever crazy challenge I wanted to do.
We hop on Hypixel, play duels for an hour. It's not anything impeccably interesting. The combat is mundane. Punch, stab, repeat. There's only so much you can do when you fight like a baby just out of utero. But you know what? I remember that day. Sometimes when I think of my brother, that's the moment that comes to mind, because it's the only time I really sat down and did something we both wanted to do. Well, I wanted to do it. He just wanted to win. But hey, at that point, I'd been begging him to play Minecraft for a millennium. The least I could do was indulge in his farming for wins.
The way I met and then later became friends with Techno is, I'd say, pretty different than most. I was just a fan of him, and I was watching him stream Bed Wars one day, and what he did in Bed Wars is he would queue into doubles and then just carry a random teammate to win. He would go off and 2v1 people, get their bed, final kill them, and then eventually win the game, carrying a random teammate.
And the nice thing about it was like having like this giant big brother behind you, where you entered a game there was sort of no doubts of losing. You was always going to win no matter what you were doing. There was just a great sense of comfort.
I was terrified for that live stream, dude. This was my idol. I was on a Sky Wars team with him all of a sudden. I was like, oh my god, oh, what do I say? Like, I can't, he's gonna find out that I'm just a copy of him. But he was actually really nice to me. That was kind of like a last minute fill for that stream, you know? I was the new kid on the block. They sent me an invite because someone else couldn't make it. And so everyone was kind of toying around with me. But Techno was just like...
There are so many distractions
cool,
on
dude.
screen.
He tried to get under the surface a little, whereas everyone else on the stream stream
thing
didn't
on the left,
really
keyboard,
bother them
grab
talking
the
to me
right,
'cause they just had no clue who I was.
It was just always like fun to record with him. It was hard to like get him to record because he'd always just be like, I don't really feel like it right now. Like he very much knew himself and knew how he felt at a current time, and he was not like afraid of like upsetting people. Like he didn't care too much about what other people think, which I think was very admirable.
At the time, I was on Bed Wars leaderboards, so I'm like, what if I do a $2 donation?
I think
hey,
this
I'm
is
on
why.
Bed Wars leaderboards, party me for free wins, and I gave
It's
my
a
name. To my
thumbnail.
surprise, he took me up on it. We played a game, and it went beautifully. I think it's one of the fastest games that I had played.
I remember Techno used to stream for like 8+ hours in Bed Wars daily at one point, and he'd be winning every single game.
We often used to chat.
If you wish to defeat me,
DMs
bring for another 100 years.
Literally
100
like 4 a.m.
years.
your time. And he was like, yeah, I'm on a new sleep schedule now, one that aligns with my Bed Wars victories.
So I remember asking him, I'd just be like, how? How do you do that? How do you stream that many hours and still keep winning? That makes no sense.
He used to wait up to be in line with specific time zones that he could really bully the most inferior players on Bed Wars.
And he'd answer me and just be like, I don't know, man, it's easy. Like, what? What do you mean? It was insane.
And I think that just kind of sums up how hilarious he was and dedicated to the craft.
I've played Minecraft since then. I've played it a lot, but I've never hit that same high again. And yeah, we played together a few more times. Not for an hour though. Sometimes I'd log into Hypixel, even though the graphics are blinding and the chat bar is basically novella. Most of the time, I'd see him grinding Skyblock. I'd visit his islands and follow him around the world like a lost puppy. If I were lucky, and I mean really lucky, we would play Murder Mystery for like 2 rounds.
I wrote down a little bit of notes here. I don't think I have a favorite video of Technoblade, like a specific video. My favorite videos with an S, it would be like any video that he has made that reminds me of my childhood the most, which is just any Hypixel video, I think, when he was just doing like Skywars commentary videos. I loved watching those after school.
Welcome guys to an episode of Skywars. There's like a week left in the semester and I'm just gonna get owned for like this entire week.
I didn't realize that the reason he was queuing doubles was because he wanted to
Dude,
get
that's
as many
me
final
this
kills as
week.
possible.
I'm
And
gonna
if
get
there are killing
owned.
half of the other teams, that's less for him to get. And I'm like, all right, fair enough, a bit sad, but understandable. And I really thought nothing else of it. That is until a week later when Techno adds me out of nowhere and he's saying, let's run it back. Now I'm going through every emotion possible. I looked up to this guy, I'd seen all his videos, and here he is wanting me to carry him again. Now of course I'm gonna say yes, but I was trying to keep it cool and not come off as like an overexcited fanboy. And I think the one reply that I could muster up was fine by me, period. Just stone cold, fine by me. And that was it. But from there it was business as usual.
I was trying to like prove that I could be good to his audience and to my audience, prove that I was good at Skywars, but like in the greatest way possible, he would just push me to be my authentic comedic self and not like try too hard. And that made for really amazing recordings. He's a good guy when it comes to just pushing you to not take things so seriously. Like for instance, we were playing Sky Clash and we were recording and I was like, I need to win this. I need to prove to everybody that I can be good at Minecraft and stuff in front of Techno's audience and stuff and in front of my own. And like he would be like team killing. I'd be going and I'd be like jump in and then he just block off right in front of me. And it made for hilarious recordings.
I think on paper Techno came across very arrogant, but it was excused because of who he was. His personality and his jokes just made it amazing. You didn't really feel angry that he was so good. You was rooting for him, especially when he was on your team.
The most important thing I learned from him was to have self-belief. He said he was
Bad
going to
Lino.
for a steering wheel, and he
But
did it. He
Lino-
said he was going to get the
Lino?
1,000 Bad
Bad
win
Lino.
streak, and he did it. He said he was going to hit 10
I
million
was right there,
subscribers,
that's
even when he
great.
had a fraction of the sub count at the time. And he did it. Being a Technoblade fan is just one of the best things ever.
You were involved in our community in so many ways that people don't even realize. The passion and energy that you brought was incredible. Your impact is still felt every single day. You truly cared about the people, and I want to thank you for letting us be part of your journey. We miss you, buddy. We will never let your memory fade.
Next up, we'll be hearing from George Not Found. George, I want to thank you for appearing in the Festival of Voices 2 years ago, helping us raise money for the One of Us Foundation.
The guy who sleeps all the time.
You took time out of your day to do that, and I really appreciate that. You didn't get anything out of it. In fact, you came under a lot of fire, unnecessarily so, I felt, for running a soundboard during the pregame lobby chatter, like a buzzer or two. It was kind of just a fun thing, and a lot of people spun it as you were interrupting me during my speech, which you were not. The flack got kind of extreme, which I've always sort of regretted. I'm sorry that happened to you. Anyway, George is here today to tell us some memories of Technoblade.
Dude, I only remember George as the guy who slept during the big explosion on the Dream SMT.
Speaking of fun memories, I actually remember the very first time that I met Technoblade, and it was in a Discord call with one of my friends. I actually don't know who that friend was. Maybe this says something about Technoblade, because I have no idea who it was, but I remember that Technoblade was there. So I'm sure he left a great impression on me. And I was getting tired. I was in the UK, so Techno was 8 hours behind me. It was probably super early in the morning for me. And I was getting tired and I wanted to leave. But then right at that moment, my friend decided to leave. And I was like, oh my god, now I can't leave because I don't want Techno thinking I hate him. I can't leave right now, even though I was just so tired and I wanted to go. But anyway, I stayed, and Techno decided that we should play some Skywars duos. Now, I've never really played it and I suck, so I was a little worried going into it. I was like, oh, I'm going to embarrass myself in front of him. I'm going to suck. And that is exactly what happened. We proceeded to play a few games and I died pretty much within the first 10 seconds every single time. And
I'm sorry, George, to interrupt, but the sellout bell timer went off. I had to ring the bell. Everybody subscribe to Technoblade. Woo!
Okay, I think you're...
Technoblade, yeah, woo!
Okay, I think he's pushing it a little bit, but as I was saying, he carried me through all these Skywars
Where
games.
are the
Every
donations?
time I would die within the first 20 seconds and think, how is he going to do this? There's no way he's going to win. And then every time he would do something crazy and just manage to clutch it with the craziest situations, and I would just be like, how is he doing it? It was like actually
here they come.
I didn't even know how it was possible. But eventually I decided it was too awkward to keep making him play solos in duos.
Here they come.
We ended up just playing the parkour in the lobby, and even there he would show me all the different shortcuts and how to improve our time, and we were just basically trying to get the best time possible. We wanted to beat the record, and we grinded that for a few hours whilst just talking about life, YouTube, everything really. I don't remember the exact details of the conversation, but I remember it was super chill, fun talking to him whilst trying to grind away at our parkour and just beat the world record.
More.
Sellout bell, subscribe to Technoblade. Everybody subscribe to Technoblade. Woo!
I don't even know which part was I at. I don't even know what part of the story I was at. I don't know. Minecraft? I don't even remember anymore. You've just ruined my story.
You were talking about Minecraft.
I don't remember it anymore. Subscribe to Technoblade.
I appreciate the joke.
Hey, I just wanted to take a second and address kind of the elephant in the room. We all know I'm not the person you really want to see. The person you really want to see is Technoblade. And we all wish that Technoblade was the guy making videos on this channel. Nobody wishes that more than I do. I understand, I get it. Unfortunately, we don't have that option. Instead, we gotta make do with what is available, which is me. It's kind of like that show, Star Trek Voyager. Did you guys see that? You know, in the first episode, the ship's doctor is killed, and so for the rest of the series, they have to make do with the emergency medical hologram. It's not a real doctor, but it's, you know, what's available. That's me. I am the emergency Technoblade hologram. It's not a real Technoblade, but it's what's available. So the next time you're feeling like you really need some Technoblade, just walk down to sickbay and ask for the emergency Technoblade hologram. And I will appear, and I'll say, please state the nature of the Technoblade emergency. Hey ETH, thanks for showing up. I was wondering, could you explain to the folks at home the significance of the various mythological Greek names that appear in this video? Certainly. I assume you're aware that gaming creators typically operate under a pseudonym. For example, Alex went by Technoblade. Following this, Mr. Technodad uses names from Greek mythology when he wants to talk about his family members. Other than Mr. Technodad and Technoblade's mom, they are Artemis and Apollo, twins in Greek mythology, twin siblings of Technoblade. Demeter is Technoblade's stepmom, that is to say, Mr. Technodad's wife. He's a lucky man. Persephone is Demeter's daughter, Technoblade's stepsister. Athena is Technoblade's cousin. I believe that's all the names that appear in this video.
Swatch?
I can't be certain because you're
The
still
Delta
working on a
Rune?
specific date, despite the fact that that is medically contraindicated. The Dark Side of Technoblade, Part 2. I had to beg him to eat his vegetables. He ate a lot of steak and potatoes and candy. Where is candy on the food pyramid? Nowhere, that's where. He loved pot pies, but he'd never eat the peas. You'd be left with a plate full of only peas. Then came war, not of swords, knights, or kingdoms, but of potatoes. What started as numbers on a leaderboard slowly became a saga of spreadsheets and sleepless nights. And don't forget the memes. Alex's innovation and grit managed to overthrow the agricultural establishment of an entire server. Sorry, Squid Kid, you know, dance, potato boy, that kind of stuff.
Dance, potato boy,
We just didn't really see
dance.
him. He didn't come out of his room. It's like sometimes you'd hear screaming behind the door, but we didn't see him.
The Minecraft server Technoblade used to play on was called Hypixel, and amongst the community, there was no one anything like him. Everyone was inspired by Technoblade. We all looked up to him.
A funny memory I always think of is going into a Hypixel lobby and always seeing Techno online with, I think he had one of the Hypixel pets renamed Subscribe, and he would always AFK in these lobbies. And I remember all of the fans would be taking screenshots in the lobby. I was taking screenshots in the lobby whenever I saw him. And I don't know, I think he was always really good. And I thought that was really cool at the time. And I still do.
I was never a big Skyblock guy, but let me tell ya, if you were getting me to watch a Skyblock video, oh my god, it is only Technoblade.
My favorite Technoblade video ever made. I think it's indisputably the best one ever, entirely because of the joke at the start of the video. I am talking about the Hypixel Skyblock experience. That video is freaking cinema. From the start, you have the cinematic opening, just talking about classic Skyblock, how every resource is precious.
I think Skyblock at its core is the ultimate challenge in resource management.
And then it hard cuts to on Hypixel Skyblock going into the hub, and he says the joke, and you log into Windcraft.
You spawn on your own island, you cut down a tree, you bridge over to the other island, and then you log into Windcraft.
It made me laugh so incredibly much. I think if you haven't
I probably
watched
would have
and
liked
you
it
wanna
more if I
watch a
knew what
Technoblade
Minecraft
video,
was
watch
when
the
it came
Hypixel
out.
Skyblock experience, or if you've seen
What
it,
is that
and you should
Glorious
just watch it
copy of
again.
a
I actually
mouse
watched it
pad?
again before recording this
Oh, maybe he
video.
got
That's
it
how
from
much I love that video.
Glosses.
content was the reason why I switched from being just
I don't know who
a
this
mindless
is.
PvP YouTuber to making Hypixel Skyblock videos. I was watching a bunch of his and I was like, dude, this looks so fun and I want to like
I'm sorry for
actually
you.
storytell in my content. So he is a huge reason why I started making my videos better and was just the biggest inspiration ever.
One of my other favorite memories to look back at is in Skyblock when Techno and I were going to build an infinite sugarcane farm. What this means is that we could sit on our island, hold left click, and we will just be able
This
to
is
farm
not
sugarcane
Hypixel
with no
Skyblock
other
at all.
input forever. Now the way that we were going to accomplish this is using minecarts.
Not a
I'm going to
single
go
video.
plant all the sugarcane, figure out the path, and Techno is going to work on the minecart track. But this is how Technoblade thinks minecart tracks are built. And this isn't even like a one-off kind of thing. He asked me why it's not working, and I just had to sit there and think that this is the same guy who would later go on to win 3 Minecraft Mondays, beat Dream in a $100,000 duel, and is widely known as the best Minecraft player to ever live. And
Put
here
all
he
his
is
skills in
asking me
Minecraft
why his
PvP.
minecart tracks aren't working.
Hi, I'm Rambo, or Rambo, as was said a
Rambo.
lot on this channel, and I just wanted to say congratulations, Techno,
Rambo.
for 20 mil. Techno was one of my biggest inspirations for the longest time for me to even start, doing a channel. Without him, my YouTube channel probably would never have even existed. One of my first videos to ever go, viral.
Isn't the hair
was
like that
literally
really
me just
annoying?
calling myself a Walmart Technoblade.
I mean,
and then
I am
adding
my
crown
hair
to
kind of
Minecraft
similar.
skin. That was a huge reason why I'm able to do what I do today.
My favorite video from Technoblade is obviously the Great Potato War.
I love the Potato War saga.
It has to be the Great Potato War. My personal favorite content that he ever made was the Potato Saga.
Obviously, the Potato War stuff.
My favorite thing that you ever did was the Potato Wars series.
I think my favorite series of videos has to be the Potato War.
The Potato War videos are the best Minecraft videos of all time.
Easily the Potato War saga.
Not to be basic, but it's got to be the Potato War.
Technoblade, where have you been all this time? Well, you see, I've been farming potatoes in Skywalk.
It's just something that I think back on and it gives me chills because something as simple as putting down potato minions in Skyblock ended up completely changing my life. And if I had chosen any other minion than potato minions, none of it would have ever happened. It's just crazy to think about.
I was subscribed to Squid Kid, the villain of the story, since he was at 3 subscribers. Me and my friend found it and we're like, this guy's so funny. And then he appears like a week later as the villain of Technoblade's videos.
I still remember when I first saw Techno on my island, he was in my AFK pool, so I rushed over to take a screenshot. No one's gonna believe me if I just go around saying, yeah, Technoblade was on my island. Like, no.
I was never really a Hypixel guy, so I didn't really care that much for Skyblock, but it didn't matter. Like, there's something so compelling about having such a random and niche goal and giving so much towards it, despite how arguably pointless it is.
Eventually he came back from being AFK and he let me know that he had taken rank 1 potato collection from me.
Your potato rank 1 spot is now mine.
Genuinely shocking. I could not believe it at all. And at first I was genuinely convinced that the admins had boosted his potato collection for him because it was just so unbelievable to me. Like, I genuinely could not believe it, like, at all. It wasn't until I got to watch the Great Potato War video when he uploaded it where I kind of started to realize and understand, like, what kind of stunt he pulled on me.
By, like, the first episode, by the end of it, you're so invested yourself in this completely nonsense goal.
I watched him not sleep, grind day in, day out. He was so committed.
Seeing the behind the scenes of Techno's entire operation, y'all have no idea how dedicated this guy was to farming potatoes. It's pretty scary.
And he said this to me, and I remember even at the time being very young thinking, this can't be right. Like, you are a too dedicated man. And what he said was, I've narrowed down Squid Kid to 3 different colleges. I was like, Techno, that's not good, man.
Every time we asked him, oh, have you got any, like, what's happening? What's the plan? What's this? He would always, like, keep a lot of it to his chest, but every now and again give us, like, a little bit of information, which I think made it more exciting to see when the videos came out, because he was, like, locked in. Oh my God. We would just ask him, like, hey, do you want to hang out and play TF2? And he'd be like, no, farming potatoes. So we would just sit in a call with them whilst he farmed potatoes.
Oh yeah, these are the reactions.
I think still to this day, that's some of the most creative content on the entire
platform.
Farming potatoes on a Minecraft server. If you were to write down the premise on paper and showed it to any other Minecraft YouTuber at the time, they would have laughed at it.
He took something as simple as farming potatoes on a Minecraft server and made it so funny and interesting.
Just how wild that is, that he can take something as simple as farming potatoes and turning it into this hilarious comedic saga.
The only time I've ever had a shred of interest in Skyblock is when Technoblade played, because you know what? He's a damn good storyteller.
It's good storytelling, and with Techno's personality, it's just like absolutely insane.
It's incredible. It's just a masterclass in how to hook people into a narrative, and it's so compelling to watch.
They would have been like, there's no way you can make a video about farming potatoes entertaining. But Techno's dedication to the bit absolutely sold it in a way I don't think any other creator would have been able to do.
The thing that impresses me most about Technoblade was his willingness to commit to a project. It's very easy to look at any given 1,000-hour project on YouTube and see it cut down into 30 minutes or something and not really grasp just how long it took to do that project. I could name off a bunch of examples here. There is the entire Potato War.
He just said, I'm going to get to the top of the leaderboards in potato farming no matter what. And he just did it. He literally just said, I don't even care. I'm gonna do it. And I just found that very admirable in like a crazy way.
I remember being really shocked he was actually spending like 12 hours a day farming potatoes.
The amount of hours that he was willing to put into any given project just blows my mind. And I think it's safe to say that Technoblade would have spent way more than 1,000 hours on his efforts in the Great Potato War, because he talks about spending 12-hour days for weeks on end doing what he needed to do in order to win the Great Potato War.
He was able to siphon creativity out of the most mundane concepts. In my opinion, that is a generational talent.
It was amazing to watch something as simple and mundane as farming potatoes be turned into this fierce rivalry between two insane people with way too much time on their hands.
And I think that really highlighted an aspect of Techno, how he was able to take something as silly as farming potatoes and turn it into an amazing and just hilarious story.
I like that series the most because even though we weren't necessarily in the trenches fighting the good fight with him for the potato war, we were absolutely on his side and rooting for him.
It showed how talented he was at content creation and how in tune he was with this business.
I think it really speaks volume about how creative he was.
Just the sheer dedication he has to beat Squid Kid at having the most potatoes on Hypixel Skyblock, and the humorous way he tells the story that always keeps me watching until the very end.
That moment where he gets the victory is just icing on the cake. That is my favorite.
I just loved him for it, man. It was so cool.
Congrats on 20 million subscribers, Technoblade.
We win these! The Dark Side of Technoblade, Part 3. I got some new silverware and he hated the tablespoons. Why? I love these tablespoons.
Yeah, they're really bad.
As Alex's audience grew, so did the
What was our
stages
Discord
flow.
ping?
Mondays were mayhem in the Techno family, but it was all worth it. Alex would dominate the competition, gracefully, hilariously, and unforgettably.
The Minecraft Monday stream that we did together, we just clicked like immediately. I still think about it to this day and I still watch it every now and again. That was the first time we'd properly spoken, and you can see we're kind of like sort of feeling out what's okay, what's not okay, like how much can we joke, and it was just so natural. After like maybe 5 minutes we just clicked, and I remember that being like the most fun I've had probably to this date in like a Minecraft tournament type situation, you know. There's so many things, but yeah, like I said, thankfully a lot of them are recorded and I can just go watch them and kind of relive them again.
Oh, what's my favorite memory with Technoblade? You know, we had so many good ones, but I'd probably say those early ones playing MCC together with the full Sleepy Boys. When he started calling me, he finally like acknowledged I was good at Minecraft as well. What did he call it? The dynamic duo. He started like shouting that at me, and I was like, oh my god, like the legend actually.
Right, good at
also, just off camera,
Minecraft.
just a lot of the gaming we did together was really fun. You get to know like him.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
man,
he's
those
better
first
than me.
streams was so sick. Yeah, I loved it. Loved it so much.
This was back in the day, 2019. You know, we were both on the come up, so to speak, and we were both doing this tournament every Monday called Minecraft Mondays. I had no idea to play the game.
Ska,
I
Minecraft
really
skin in
didn't.
the
I still
background.
don't. And the day I found out that me and Alex were going to be teammates for it, I made it very, very clear to him what my situation was. And he says to me, "I need to train you." And so the day of the event, he makes me leave work early. My 9-to-5 job in New York City, I leave after I take off after lunch.
Cosmic
and I go back
Sans?
home and I just sit with him in Hypixel and he trains me on how to play the game. I had no idea that, like, you know, you had to jump and then swing the sword. Dude may as well have taught me what the sprint button did. That's how that's how bad I was at the game. And when it came time for the tournament a couple hours later, I still sucked. But we won. The entire thing. We won the entire thing. A Hunger Games event, a Spleef event. It's like a tournament full of the most classic Minecraft games with some of the most legendary Minecraft YouTubers out there. Captain Sparkles, Ant Venom, Bayesian Canadian. We're all fighting against us, and he carried us to win the entire thing. And at this point, Alex has already had, you know, a couple
Wow, I have
victories under his
a
belt,
lot
so
of
I'm sure
motivation
there's
to play
nothing new
Hypixel
him.
right now.
But to me, it was like, this was just an unreal.
It would be great if
it was the most viewers I've ever had. It was the most money I've ever won in a single day. $5,000 after winning a Minecraft tournament was insane to me. And even now, I still think back to that day as, you know, probably the most exciting day of my entire career.
1K videos. 1K?
My first ever like actual interaction with Techno was
Did he
Minecraft Monday. I actually DM'd him on
publicize
like, hey,
another
we
video?
should team up. Like you can get me in. I'm better like than people think. You know, I haven't uploaded much. Nobody really knows how good I am. So I'm like a Trojan horse. Like you can Trojan horse me in, and then we can win, and it'll be awesome. To which he just was like, nah, you know, nah. I was like, all right, okay, all right.
Oh, damn it, I didn't send how many he had.
I was convinced I was going to beat Technoblade. I was going to show him up. I was going to be the best Minecraft player in the event, and it didn't happen. Techno won the event, and I did not do very well. And that kind of started the Technoblade Dream rivalry. It was just in my head at the time. It was not something that like Technoblade thought of. It was something that I thought of. I was like, yes, Dream versus Technoblade. I will beat him one day. It will happen.
I think my favorite memory with him was definitely when we got invited to Minecraft Mondays and we were surrounded by YouTube celebrities that we wanted to both kill, and finally our moment came when we managed to track down PewDiePie.
I thought he said birth
and we
kill.
stabbed him. Of course, winning Minecraft Mondays was a great thing together, but I think that was just the cherry on top.
I want to share a funny story on how I met Technoblade to begin with. There was this Minecraft Hunger Games event called Minecraft.
Oh my gosh, another one from...
It was an event where you would play with a duo. I was teamed up with another person called Junkie Janker. He was another creator.
Sky Power Girl is here?
And
what?
At that point, I had heard of Technoblade, but I wasn't exactly sure who he was exactly. As soon as we start this event, the one thing my duo told me before starting the event, he says, watch out for Technoblade and shotgun raids. I was like, why do I need to watch out for Technoblade? It's just whatever you do, if you see him, run. You do not want to mess with Technoblade. Sure enough, I was weary about this warning, but I didn't take it that seriously. And as soon as a Minecraft Mondays started, I would just see constantly in the chat, Technoblade has killed this creator. Technoblade has killed that creator. That was my introduction to Technoblade. And I was incredibly scared of him from that moment on. I knew this guy was someone not to mess with, clearly a master at Minecraft. So further on, when I met him through other content, I would speak to Technoblade in a way where I would always be scared of him. I would talk to him under the premise of that trauma that I lived in Minecraft Mondays, which, by the way, Technoblade won so many Minecraft Mondays. This guy was insane. But also, he was teaming up with people like Shotgun Raids, which, I mean, just too OP.
As is the case for many people, I assume, my intro to techno was during the Minecraft Monday tournaments many years ago, and I think it was the first tournament before we'd even played, going through the tab list and seeing what the different teams were, and thinking, okay, a lot of these people, they're not Minecraft streamers or YouTubers, they probably don't have that many hours. I've played the game a lot. It's like the meme with the people dancing at the party and there's the guy sitting over in the corner to himself. I'm the guy in the corner. They don't know I used to be a Hunger Games champion, or at least runner-up to Ant Venom in the first one. Anyway, there are a couple people in chat and I think they were saying, hey, the team with Technoblade on it, it's pretty good. You should definitely be on the lookout for that one if you run into them. And I'm like, how good could they possibly be? Well, pretty clear answer to that one. And I think as the weeks went by, really must have started to weigh on me because, you know, there have been a lot of good PV people over the years, but I don't think any other ones, even if there have been similar track records in our encounters, have ever instilled
Why is there the
such
red
fear
line here?
in me as when I would run into Technoblade. I guess I must have like really exhibited this outwardly because I remember seeing a clip that was sent to me of Techno talking in a stream or a video, and he's going, when I'm editing together the videos of these tournaments, I can't use any of the clips from Captain Sparkle's POV because every time I run into him, he just gets depressed. He's like, it's an immediate downer and I can't put it in the video because he's like, oh, it's over. Guys, we're done, we're ruined, we're destroyed. GG's, fun playing with the rest of you. I remember I saw this clip and I actually tried in the future to not be as downtrodden when running into whether it was him or anyone else from like we're clearly outmatched. So hey, you know what? If this clip makes it into the video, maybe it'll be the first time I have not been too downtrodden.
I think my favorite memory of Technoblade was when I was watching him in high school. I would sometimes go back home and realize there was a new Minecraft Monday highlight video, and I would sit down and just eat my lunch while watching that. Good memories. I will always look forward to a new upload even back then. It was like, oh god, 8-9 years ago. Shit, I'm old.
I have a memory from back in 2019 when Technoblade played in a Minecraft tournament called Minecraft Monday. I remember feeling so excited that Technoblade was going to be playing Minecraft with some of the biggest creators like PewDiePie and Ninja. I knew that Technoblade was going to wipe the floor with them. I think what made it so special is it felt like the whole Hypixel community and all of Techno's audience were just rooting for him. When the first Minecraft Monday happened, I was on a camp and I had absolutely no internet. But I remember calling up Tom and just asking him to tell me every single detail. But just hearing about how Technoblade dominated the tournament just brought me so much joy. To see him in a way represent the Hypixel community that me and my friends were all involved in, it was special. It was like following a sports team and then winning the cup final. Everyone was so behind him and together, and it was just special. I don't know how to describe it.
My favorite memory with Technoblade, there's many memories to pick from. He left such an impact, especially in the MCC community, and gave us as the team running it a lot to do, but for all the good reasons. And I will always remember his attack on Buildmart, because the early games of Buildmart, Alex kind of realized it was something I don't think building was his strong suit, and rather than try and learn to build or figure out like that's okay to be a game that
memorize everything,
he decided to like work out the fastest way to do. I still to this day don't even know exactly how he figured it out and what he'd worked out, but he worked out all the potential builds out of every build that's ever been done. He'd worked it out and counted out every single block that was needed and like gave his team stats beforehand of where they were to go and get it. And he managed to metagame the entire game of Buildmart and get set, like I'm pretty sure one of the highest scores we've had, and also changed the way we had to like make Buildmart. We had to like actively go in and make changes to this because he'd fundamentally broken the game in a way we just hadn't assumed anyone would go out of their way to do. And it will always be such a funny moment because for me, Techno has so many of the amazing like PvP moments and fight scenes and just the bits that I think show off his PvP prowess, but that's always such a funny memory to me because it shows off his more mischievous side and the way his brain worked with that stuff. And I think it also really left an impact. I don't think we've really had anyone else like break a game so fundamentally that we had to like change how we structured and spawned the builds in just so that way couldn't be done. We had to basically make multiple versions of every build that it could randomly pick from so that there was no way to guarantee what the build was going to be. And I always just think that him having that mark in a game that he hated so much is always such a like funny moment for me, and I'm glad that we were able to include the tribute to him in MCC, and it's something that I think is important for his viewers and for the MCC community as a whole, because without Techno I don't think MCC would be anywhere near where it is, and I think he just was so passionate about the event and it meant so much to us that he enjoyed what we did as well much as he did, and we were just very grateful that he chose to support us and take part.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is HBomb94, and you actually
the real
more
HBomb,
specifically as the guy that mentally scarred Technoblade in MCC 7 and almost getting blocked by him in MCC 8.
I swear to God, if HBomb does this to me twice.
Don't let him clutch. Don't let him clutch.
A funny memory I have with Technoblade is during a charity event, which he ended up making a video out of actually. It was where the more money you raise with your community, the more items you get in game. And
oh, I love that tournament.
A ton of money. So obviously he's really stacked and he's good at PvP. I was just hoping like, oh my god.
He was in that as well.
If Technoblade kills me, I'm never gonna hear the end of it. Please, like anyone kill me but him, please. At
they all
point,
teamed
like,
up.
I don't want more of this. I already hear about me losing the potato war like basically every day. So honestly, when someone did kill me, it wasn't Technoblade, and I was just relieved. I was just relieved he wasn't getting another point up on me.
I kind of gave up on beating Technoblade. I had my chance, it didn't work. I had already I tried Minecraft Monday, it didn't work. I tried, in other scenarios, it didn't work. We did even like Minecraft Championships started happening, and I mean, I did better than him sometimes on the leaderboard, but like it was never like I was really truly like beating him,
Start by, why don't I ask you guys how you first met Technoblade?
For Calvin and I think we have the same answer. It was from my first event that kind of kicked off my event hosting career. Takes All One.
Yeah.
Back in January of 2019. It was a bunch of us. It was like 15 of us total on the Minecraft.
Wait, Calvin 9000.
So
He doesn't call himself
Minecraft events were
Sixelwixon
simple back
anymore.
then. The whole point was just stay on the server, stay online, stay awake. And it was a little unsafe because we just had like teenage Minecraft creators staying up for over 48 hours, but...
Buddy, I was hallucinating by the end. It was...
but by the like 30-hour mark, Techno was just so invested, just camping in Calvin's stream chat for like a day and a half straight. Because he was just so interested. It had nothing to do with like wanting to join or specifically like make any connections or anything. He just was so interested in delirious Calvin camera swapping on his winner take us all stream.
I forgot
as he slowly fell to the brink, and we're just hanging out and he's just typing in chat, and we're neglecting his 1,000 other viewers to just have a one-on-one conversation with Technoblade on stream.
Yeah, and
then at the end, when the event ended, he was spamming the chat and making his viewers also spam the chat and join him saying, "Add me to the call! Bring me to the Discord call!" We brought him into the call. We hung out for like 15 more minutes after that, and then you went to bed.
I ate a cheeseburger and went to sleep. I remember him in my chat all the time, basically egging me on. He kept saying if I left, he was gonna be mad, and I can't make Techno mad at that point. That wasn't it.
A long time ago, I first made Twitter. It was like 2014 or 2015, and I remember seeing Technoblade on Twitter, barely following anyone. I was barely following anyone, but he was a Minecraft PvP YouTuber. I did UHC, he did survival games on Hypixel. We kind of just started talking to each other. We're like, let's collaborate one day, and we would always move the date. I remember he was busy, I was busy, something was going on, and then finally we did a video together years later, right on this battlefield.
So MCU stands for Minecraft Ultimate, which in itself stands for Minecraft Ultimate Hunger Games. The idea was to take the original Minecraft Hunger Games from back in 2012 with 24 players and see what happens when we make the map 10 times bigger and the roster even more than 10 times bigger. It was kind of my dream project for a really long time. At the time, the world record Minecraft event in terms of how many people were playing and streaming it was like 60, and I wanted to crank it up all the way to 300. The first one was just simple duos. The second one was we had everyone pair up into duos, everyone had a friend and a partner they were playing with, and then I manually nudged the duos together to make squads of 4, right? But Calvin and Nestor's duo that I paired them with was 2 FaZe members, and they dropped out like super last minute. And all of a sudden, I get a message from Nestor who's just like, "Hear me out. I want you to hear me out, okay? Before you instantly say no. What if Techno was 2 people and played instead of FaZe?" And I had the exact same response Techno did. I remember when the video dropped, I was laughing bad because he said exactly what my reaction was, which was, "That's hilarious, let's do it."
I think there was no way he was going to join if it was another person too. I think he would have joined only if it was just him.
It's just so funny. So it's just an absolute mess of 300 people over the course of like almost 3 hours, if not more, of just raw Minecraft Hunger Games. It's by far the biggest roster that any Battle Royale Minecraft event has ever had before, which is what gave way to so much potential for the absolute carnage that took place of the team of Techno, Calvin, and Nestor to get like, what was it, like 140 combined kills or something, which blows the previous record out of the water of like,
I don't remember. I gotta
30.
look it up now. This guy, the Technoplane meme. He put everybody on his back and
Technoplane and then Technoboat.
Hey everyone.
I remember I was at my grandparents'
I just wanted to talk about
place
something
when
that I was hearing
Technoplane and
about.
Technoboat
I heard that on
became
Twitter.
a thing.
It's not really a place I go because I'm all about.
Maybe it was just
positivity.
Technoboat.
But I heard that after the live
It's-
stream that we did a few days ago, there was some grumbling about Mr. Technodad.
But I just got a notification
like,
of it.
I'm interested in money.
And watched his
which is,
live
if you knew
stream.
me, is a laugh.
And
I don't care about money. I care about.
I barely
what's in
ever
our heart.
watched
You know,
live
I
streams,
care about
but that
supporting
was
the
so
community.
fun.
I care about
His
the
live streams
fans
are so much fun to watch.
I care about cancer research and wellness for everyone. And I think it's laughable. My phone is, hang on. Why is Oh, it's the sellout timer. The sellout timer.
Subscribe to Technoblade.
One of us. Subscribe to Technoblade and buy the merch. Buy the merch. We have 20 million t-shirts. We don't have 20 million of them. We have, they're commemorating 20 million subscribers. 20 million t-shirts would be too many. We've got We've got the Aggro King. I should have lit them better. We've got the Ghost King. I don't have it right here, but it's there in stock. You can buy it and get it. We've got hoodies and fancy 20 million coin coming out, and card decks and pins. And did I say hoodies? Everything. It's
Cards?
so exciting. Buy the merchandise. Buy the merchandise. Not if you're a starving student, though, or if you can't afford rent. Do not buy the merchandise. But everybody else, buy the merch until your wallets bleed, which might happen just from the shipping. We don't make any money on shipping. That's all going to the shipping companies. I hate it, but you gotta buy it. I'm telling you, my kids are going to college, and Alex is gonna pay for it. Okay, so anyway, like I was saying, my real values are love. So just remember that next time you're thinking about, being creative.
I need these.
Thank you very much.
The dark side of Technoblade.
Let's go.
He would bring his dishes to the sink, but would he put them in the dishwasher? No.
Duels weren't just content for Alex. They were art. They were a mindset. He didn't trash talk. He gave dissertations.
What?
Some call him the blood god, but he was also a scholar of combat.
I don't know if I've ever had more fun PvPing in the game of
so
Minecraft as the 100k Mr. Beast training arc.
Last Thursday, I did a 1v1 with Dream for $100,000.
I'm pretty sure initially he DM'd me and wanted to practice. And was I the best 1.9 PvPer he could have asked? No. The answer is no. But he asked me to train him, and it made me really happy, and I said yes. And then we proceeded the call for like 3 hours, and we just dueled each other in sword over and over and over and over.
Before I go in for the kill on 1.9, I want the enemy to make at least 2 mistakes, and here you see Dream's second mistake is letting me get a bunch of these axe crits for free. Of course, his first mistake was challenging me in the first place.
I was helping Technoblade out to practice in the 100k Mr. Beast duel. Mr. Beast let him and Dream practice on the maps before the actual fight. It was on this one map that had this 3x3 or 4x4 pillar or something, and I remember he was using the pillar to defend himself, and then he was just oh, this actually reminds me of ancient Chinese technique that an emperor used.
In 227 BCE, King Zhang once escaped from his assassin by circling behind a pillar. I replicate this mid-fight and heal to full health.
I was just what? But then I was oh wait, it's Techno. Right, it's Technoblade. I just find it very interesting how Technoblade is literally the same exact person behind the scenes as he is in the videos, you know what I mean, and just in live streams and anything. He stands to be one of the most unique individuals I've ever met, and that is only coming through as an online virtual friend.
Anytime I ever talked to Technoblade, it was a blast. It was an absolute time, and I literally would not trade it for anything.
Oh, I did it. I did it. I did it. Oh my god.
Techno, congratulations.
I'm genuinely.
$100,000.
I genuinely cannot process this.
The Dark Side of Technoblade, Part 5. He would do his laundry but never put it away. Dirty clothes covered the floor and clean clothes stayed in the laundry basket. Over time, he'd end up hogging all the laundry baskets and the rest of us never had enough of them.
But I'll buy the minifig,
unlimited expansion.
the enamel pen, the coin.
But how many actually have it? We do. We're
I don't
changing
want the
people's
coin.
lives.
It changed my life in so many ways.
I want the minifig though.
Everything is different now.
My old life, gone. Brought to you by Cancer. Cancer. Think outside the cell.
Thank you, Cancer. Thank you, Cancer. Thanks, Cancer.
Brought to you by Cancer, without which today's broadcast would not be possible. Cancer. Think outside the cell. Then the world expanded. SMP Earth brought territory, tactics, and of course, the Antarctic Empire. Because sometimes the best way to conquer is to start with the coldest, windiest, and most remote continent. The Antarctic Empire was something that Alex would regale me with stories about as it was happening. He was very enthusiastic about that.
This is one of my favorite moments that I ever had with Technoblade personally, and it would have occurred right around the beginning of the SMP Earth server.
It was me, him, and Philza, and we were on SMP Earth.
Hi, my name is Alistair, or Eret online. SMP Earth I joined in November 2019, which is around the same time I started streaming. I would stream super late nights, chill streams. Usually it would only be me, and quite often that only other person would be Techno, and he would be often just grinding to be the most overpowered person he could be, as was his character in the Antarctic Empire. And because it was often just me and him on the server, he invited me over to Antarctica a couple of times, gave me updates on what he was doing and showing the builds, and we would talk in game chat.
We had just done this like kind of lore-esque stream, and we were kind of just chilling. I was still live. I was just kind of doing my thing, and he decided to stay and hang out with me and Phil, and he was making me laugh. When I tell you I laughed harder than I have ever laughed in my entire life, I mean that sincerely. I don't think I've ever laughed as hard as I have when I've talked to Technoblade.
I was pursuing a, let's just say, a partnership or an alliance with the Antarctic Empire. I don't remember exactly how this played out, but I know that somewhere along the way, instead of asking Technoblade for an alliance, I wound up in an IRL bidding war with SV Yoshi for the alliance spot. We were bidding actual money in order to get this alliance. Because the SMP Earth server had a map where any viewer could just see where everyone was on the map, they would have seen that I was flying near Technoblade's location. Anyone who would have had the map open on like a second monitor would have seen that I was quick on the approach, and not knowing what motivation or intentions I had, they were like, wait a minute, what's he doing? He's flying to Technoblade. We better go check this out. Right around the time my viewership started to go up as a result of this is when the bidding war itself was going on. So here's something that I did. When you subscribe to someone on Twitch, you can do a thing called a Prime subscription where you can subscribe to someone without actually having to pay to subscribe. So what I decided to do is I decided to pool together Technoblade viewers' money in order to fundraise for the alliance spot. I wound up raising like just north of $100 or something, and I wound up winning the bid for my faction to become allied with the Antarctic Empire. So I, for life, am allied with the Antarctic Empire.
On SMP Earth, they had this feature where you could claim land by just selecting along the border. And Techno worked out early on in the server that there was not a limit. As long as you made a circle big enough, you could technically claim everything. And he flew a plane around the entire map and claimed the entire world. And that broke a lot of things.
T-minus 20 seconds before world domination is complete. I'm refreshing.
Yes! Ladies and and gentlemen, get on your feet. Antarctic world domination.
Antarctic Empire owns the world.
It was sometime shortly thereafter, Technoblade wound up finding himself trying to log on to the SMP Earth server, and he had an otherworldly bad connection to the server. I mean, he was lucky if he could walk 10 feet without disconnecting on the server. I wound up being on the server at the time, and not having anything better to do, I decided to fly back to Africa, pick up our boy Technoblade, and fly him home. And that was an adventure.
I'm
all
looking
by
at the
itself
shop right
because
now
he
in
kept
case you're wondering.
disconnecting. Because we were flying in planes, we had to fly really close down to terrain so that if he were to fall, he wouldn't fall to his death. It was a really fun time.
Currently, I'm interested in the aggro word mark lanyard.
A lot of Minecraft content at that
Classic
point.
pig
So,
model
I mean, I
toy
knew who
limited
Techno
edition,
was,
20
but I
million
was never,
subs
not
and
never
now
a Techno
maybe.
fan, but I wasn't watching his content. But
Cost
I appreciate
420 crowns.
what he did and how he acted with me, despite you know being a big YouTube person. Because a lot of these big YouTube people you meet, they are not the people who they put themselves out in their video. But Techno always was, and always, you know, behind the scenes, even a nicer guy than the edgy is not the right word, but the headstrong character he put on streams. A lot of the content on YouTube, I feel, was very much, hey guys, blah 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 blah, like very high energy, and I appreciated that Techno delivered a very dry humor similar to my own that I thoroughly enjoyed. I do believe Techno had made me feel more confident in not having to overdo my personality or try to pretend to be something I'm not when it came to making content. I'd always just enjoyed making content because I got to share who I was with people I enjoyed showing, and Techno seemed to like doing the same and be himself the whole time while doing it.
Hey guys, this is Sneak Snag. First of all, huge congrats. Such an accomplishment.
Wait, who was the last guy?
I won't pretend.
Oh, right,
that
it was
I
Eric.
like, extremely good friends with him. I had some really special moments with him, and I cherish them even now. Just the times on SMP Earth with Phil, especially, just being delirious late at night, and then I have a clip of him just like falling straight into the ocean, getting into a plane in the game, and it immediately, like the most comedic timing ever, like as he gets in the plane, as he's supposed to like clearly go in the air, just like dips like an anvil. Just magical stuff.
He was the funniest person I think I've ever met. Like, his comedic timing was impeccable. He was just so fast, so quick-witted, and it was just an absolute joy to hang out with him in those moments.
Another thing from SMP Earth is there was a scavenger hunt right at the end of SMP Earth that was supposed to go on the world download of SMP Earth, but I believe that this world download was made before he finalized the hunt, so no one ever got to see what was actually at the end of that scavenger hunt. But as I was on the server and I knew he'd done it, I went and checked before the server shut down and took a screenshot of what was there, and there was a small chest at his turtle farm in South Africa, and I think inside there was a book, and inside that book said something along the lines of, "You just wasted your time, there's no secret here."
The Dark Side of Technoblade, Part 6.
Yes.
He drank a lot of ice water, but he'd never use a coaster. This ruined the finish on the desk I bought him that I spent over $50 on.
Welcome guys to another episode of Sky Wars. I promised myself this wouldn't happen, but it only took a couple of days for this dog to become like the entire basis of my emotional stability. Like, I told myself that I was gonna remain like super like calm and collected. Like, I was just like pushing back my hair, like I am so masculine and indifferent about this small animal.
Oh my god, the figure!
It goes, oh my god, this is the greatest moment of my life! So yeah, it didn't work out. I mean, how am I supposed to not love this small animal? It licks my foot, okay? Okay, I've become what I feared most, okay? I've become that guy who hates people but likes animals. I promised myself I wouldn't become this, but it happened. I'm sorry, guys. But small animal. I mean, have you met people, in my defense? Like, it's just clearly small animals are just superior to people in every way. I was home alone with the dog all day, and we're gonna call the dog Floof because that's what everyone seems to call him, and There doesn't seem to be any rush to give him like an actual name. It's not the manliest name, but it's not the manliest dog either.
The eyes.
And I'm like, well, clearly if I have to get like, you know, any important things done today, like homework, I have to distract this dog. And the best way to distract him is to tire him out. Now, the thing about Floof is that he is a 4-month-old puppy, so obviously I can tire him out. I mean, come on, how athletic could a 4-month-old puppy be? We're running in circles, I'm running around the house, it's just like, you know, matching me step for step. As it turns out, this 4-month-old puppy is more athletic than Technoblade. I don't know how this happened. I'm not even like that out of shape, okay? This is one athletic puppy, okay? Don't judge me. Leave me alone. But yeah, I let him into the backyard this like for the 5th time in like 1 hour, and he runs over to like the fence that leaves our backyard to go to the street, and I'm sitting like, silly animal, you can't fit through that fence, you're like twice as wide as the whole, and he just goes straight through it because he's 70% fur and my life is a lie, and he just like, you know, instantly runs out to the street just like, I'm free. It's like, later, loser. And I try to go through the fence and it's locked. I didn't ask for this dog was for my sisters, now they're never home. Me and my dad end up having to be the ones to deal with it, and 2, me and this dog are best friends. In fact, he's in the room. Floof. He searched through the deserts. He searched through the forest. He even searched on
Is this the 100,000 or 10,000 award? Is this the 10,000?
Go, Floof. Go.
Pretty sure it is.
I need help.
This is before I subscribed at least. I subscribed when the nerd sign came out. That video.
Can't actually get my mouth. Huh? Eat it, nerd.
This is. Why do I recognize this? Okay. That's so cute. Oh, the rabbit. Oh my god, I loved it. What was it called? What, the one, the SMP with the powers. That one was so much fun. Oh, that's this thumbnail. But you already showed that one. But it's a really good one. That one too. I can see Rambu's face so oblong. What is this? What? That looks... I already showed that one too. Mm-hmm. Saw that. Oh, I love that. Oh, I recognize that one. Oh, you showed that one before, but I like their art a lot. They made more Technoblade art I've seen. That one's cool, wow. I can't believe they made the subscribe button white. Why not red? Jabberjaws! That's a moderator! Oh, Benji, that's why I recognize that art! Oh my gosh! He made the Skyverse anime! Oh my gosh, dude, I recognize an artist I like when I see their art. Wow.
Dream SMP. You all know that name well. Origins SMP. You know that name a little
Oh,
less.
Origin
And
SMP,
finally,
that's the
my
carrot.
storyteller son found his stage. Whether a revolutionary with
That's
a
the
trident
funny
or a
one.
pig in exile, Techno wove his own narrative into every pixel. He was the lore.
What's your favorite behind the scenes story with Techno? I guess my favorite behind the scenes story is probably the Potato War, but I mean, there's a few other things. I don't know, just planning lore together.
Dream XD has canonical access to creative mode, while the regular Dream is just like some homeless Teletubby that, hey, JK,
with cool ideas and like hearing the stuff that he wanted to do, and a lot of people like see the streams, whether it was lore or whether it was like just high pixel, just hanging out. He cared a lot. He cared like so much about telling a good story, seeing him work so hard to do that whilst also sort of facilitating other people's content at the same time. One thing he loved to see a lot of was other people's success. If you told him like, oh man, I just got like so many extra viewers, like chat loved it, he was so happy to see that effect kind of like permeate through to different people. He went out of his way to try and include people as much as he could in the stuff he was doing to kind of like lift everyone up. That would be my favorite behind the scenes sort of story, I guess, in general. It's very overarching, but
the most important thing I learned from him was also during the time on the Dream SMP, as it got bigger in a way none of us ever expected, and the lore and the love for all the lore we were doing really grew and grew and grew, and it kept feeling like we had to one up ourselves all the time and always be these larger than life characters. And Techno would come in and he would join the lore in a way that was so authentically him, at least to me. Although, sure, he had a bit of a character going on. It was so true to himself, and it was so...
I'm gonna be the president of anarchy, boys!
Are you a
Let's
commie, Techno?
go.
That makes sense!
The anarchy empire!
Come in, mate.
He was just having fun with it all the time in a way where at times I felt this real pressure to sort of try and come up with the best narrative hook and, you know, all this stuff. And he was killing it just through being himself. And it sort of taught me that you're always best being authentic.
My favorite memory with Technoblade definitely has to be when we did our Dream SMP lore stream a while back. I think that was so so funny where we basically just ran around and then we went up to Eric, I think, and basically just bullied him into giving us information.
Should we just start stabbing, or should we talk to him first?
All right, I'll do the talking.
All right. Diplomacy,
Hey.
gentlemen.
I'm currently going through the 5 stages of grief, so please be mindful. On that note, where the fuck is my child?
I think it was just so silly and
Oh,
different
that's
to
about-
the other lore streams I'd done on the server before, which were a lot more serious. It was a lot more lighthearted, a lot more fun.
All right, well, the important thing is we've got the epic team up of Tubbo and everybody that's murdered Tubbo in the past, so now we can roll out.
This is so true. I think that's honestly my favorite memory with the stuff that we've made.
Techno joined the Dream SMP, and in Minecraft Championship, we teamed up. And we had an amazing victory in Minecraft Championship together.
Dream, please, please, I will tell everyone on my YouTube channel to subscribe to you.
Come on.
Thank you, Dream! Thank you, Dream!
And then we also did, on the Dream SMP, teamed up and did a lot of, Minecraft lore. So we were
He
able to kinda come
bullied
full
him
circle
about
and
his
have
hours.
the arc of going from me being a fan to us being rivals to then us being friends.
What is my favorite memory of Technoblade? Oh my gosh, I don't even know
Oh
where
my
to
God.
begin. His type of personality made it
Prime
so every
Church.
single experience was a
Church
great
Prime.
memory in and of itself. He was constantly making other people laugh.
I want to leave a smoking crater from which not only will Manberg never recover, but from which no new country can rise in its place. History will forget that a country ever existed in this area.
Do you advocate the murder of cats?
No.
Oh, okay. That sounds pretty good. I had a
No.
great experience on the Dream SMP
No.
off camera. We were all goofing around and it was just a blast. That was one of my favorite just experiences of all time, I think, with him. He was definitely someone who was just constantly trying to make other people have fun, and he always had this wit about him where he knew exactly what to say at any given time. Hi. Hey, we don't have to fight.
I want to fight, though.
I don't want to. And I can just specifically remember here that it was one of my most favorite memories. It was very fun.
Some of the fondest memories I have of Techno is, of course, MCC, all the tournaments we've done together. But there's one live stream Techno did that is my favorite memory I have of him that maybe a lot of you don't know about. This is what I wanted to be known for on the Dream SMP, was causing the most deaths, and I kind of didn't flex it at all, but this caused easily 1,500 plus deaths on the server. But what this is, you can see how high up, that's where the clouds are, so you can see how high up we are. This is an obstacle course that I built. The main goal of this is to land in that little target there, but it's very hard to do so. What you need to do is land in the slime block, jump up there, mid-air, grab a bow out of that chest, drop down on that slime block, mid-air, grab arrows out of here, land on this slime block, shoot that little button there, which let me tell you is one of the hardest things to do because this thing is so tiny. And then not only that, that retracts a piston, which opens up this, which you need to land perfectly in the middle to land in the water. That's how you complete it. Now, a lot of people would just do it because it's like a fun little challenge, but that's not Technoblade. Technoblade would see this as a waste of time, unless I gave him a reason.
See, H-Bomb, he's brilliant, all right? You know, if he just said, hey, you want to do this obstacle course? I'd be like, maybe, I guess if I have time. But now the opportunity to steal something from Sapnap has come up. It's an entirely different game.
It worked. I'm thinking of the millions of views my channel's gonna get. I killed Technoblade 100 times on the Dream SMP. I was gonna be 1,000-air. You know Technoblade never dies, right?
Wait, no.
Well, I haven't watched every Dream
saw me
SMP live
bounce.
streams.
You saw my corpse bounce. Pain. We're collecting this. My corpse bounces. First try, part 27. We don't talk about that. All right, I'm just gonna take a stack of arrows out of the chest and just spam. Easy. That was so. No! I hit it. I hit the.
he was getting insanely close way too quickly, and it was making me so nervous because he only had like 20 deaths at that point, which if I were to upload me killing Technoblade only 20 times on here, that would be embarrassing. I wanted 100. But the thing is, in Minecraft, it is a lot of RNG on what's going down. If you shoot in the same spot over and over again, never moving your mouse, the arrows will not go in the same spot. It's very all over the place. So not only do you have to have it lined up almost perfectly on the button,
really don't
but you
like.
gotta get super lucky for the arrow to hit the button. There is RNG in this, and the Technoblade, after hitting the button, does this.
Of course. Oh my god. Oh, that was awesome.
He hits it again.
That was awesome. Easy first try, baby. Oh, that was so trivial on my first try.
I was like so happy that he was able to do it because it was such an impressive feat, but I felt so ashamed. He truly was just a legend of Minecraft and continues to be to this day.
Another one of my great experiences.
Not even
actually
surprised.
took place somewhere
Crazy that he
over
didn't do it
here.
on his first try.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my goodness. This was awesome.
Oh
I would
my
come
god.
on late at night. Techno would be right here.
Yes.
He would just be AFK. There would be spiders and just the mobs would be backing up and Techno would occasionally come back and he'd be AFKing and he would kill them and he'd go back to AFK and the server would lag so bad. But it was so funny because both Techno and I used this mob spawner, I think, the most. And we were always on really late at night working on stuff or just playing, and he would grind for XP. And every so often, I would come here and I would see him here and I would like cover this spot and I'd be like, okay, I don't want him to die because the spiders could sometimes get out. And I think on occasion he thanked me for it. It was like, hey, thanks for boxing me in. But it was just awesome being on late at night, and the fact that we were both just crazy grinders willing to grind things was one of the things that I really liked. He was very genuine in everything he did, and he would sit on for hours and hours to get the XP he needed to enchant the armor he needed or to mine the netherite. He was just that type of person. Oh my goodness, it was awesome.
I don't have too many behind the scenes stories with Techno, but we were on the same server and he was always on that server. He had to have had one of the highest play times because he was always building, always doing something, and I thought that was really cool.
My favorite memory of Techno was probably the day he took over Lamamberg and he bombed us all.
Oh yes, the TNT, the chunker, yes.
We had that
Well,
whole
she
lattice
was
and
there,
was
but
raining
that was
TNT
so
down from
late.
above. And he just sort of took us all on and won. It was so cool. He looked so cool in that moment. And not only that, but being there and taking part in it, especially if it's someone who wasn't really involved in the planning, was just told this time and date. It was really fun. I didn't know what he was going to do.
Technoblade, Peter won't be happy about this.
I didn't know what he was going to pull off.
Oh no. Hello.
Oh, you just ate a notch apple. You just ate a notch apple.
Oh, I've got a few of those.
Supposed to happen for another
It was a really fun thing to be a part of, and he made that fun. And we had that one-on-one showdown at the end where he killed me and took my 3rd canon life.
Welcome to the youngest anarchy server in Minecraft.
Don't besmirch Fit MC's name.
No, you want to do this right here, right now, Jack Manifold?
I do. Wait, let me.
I own an axe, Jack Manifold. Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
awkward.
you really lost, Technoblade. I'm really known for my PvP, and you're really suffering the consequences.
He doesn't even have a
I'm
shield.
suffering the consequences now.
Oh, look at this car.
Oh, you messed up. You messed up.
I did that whole bit of lore where I went to hell and clawed my way back up out of spite. That was all because of him killing me in that moment. I think. I might have a wrong memory. That was one of my deaths. Pretty sure that was the last one, though. I suppose the question is favorite memory, isn't it? And that is my memory. Whether it's true is a different thing. As far as I remember, Techno was my 3rd and final death, and I could have died to no one better.
Boy, how lucky was I? I got to watch my brother play Minecraft with other people. Wow, living the dream. The dream. I didn't even like Dream SMP that much. Sure, cool concept, but everyone was just so loud, obnoxiously loud. Like, calm down. You're not auditioning for America's Got Talent. Jeez. No shade though, I was just an emo 12-year-old at the time. The only time I watched the Dream SMP without my brother was when I was bored, and who do I see? Bad Boy Halo, live. Eventually, Bad Boy Halo visits Tommy in the stream. He's in his homeless arc? Huh. I hadn't heard much of the man, only knew him as what he portrayed himself to be. I think one word can probably encapsulate how I thought he was back then. Downright infuriating. Whoops, that's two. Now don't come for me, demonic fans. Tommy isn't a cow, so go suck on someone else's tits. Of course, downright infuriating was also Tom's online persona back then. Back then, he was also just an edgy teenager who had a weird surrounding circle of adult friends. Huh.
What?
Nothing bad comes from that. Adults hanging out with minors. I actually hated Tommy in it for the longest time. Sorry, Tom, you're annoying. But I've done some thinking, and I realized why I didn't like him. It's because he got to hang out with my brother, and I didn't. Maybe I am still emo after all. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just jealous. Or maybe I'm the same 12-year-old who wanted to play Minecraft with my brother, but got replaced with British children.
It was really lovely to see just how dedicated he was to the Dream SMP. And I think when all of us stopped being as dedicated, he was so committed to the story, and even right till the very end, all the plans he had, and it was really inspiring just how into the sort of craft, for lack of a better word, for the pun, that he was. He was just so into it, and he never changed, man. He was always Technoblade.
Big crowd.
And I just thought that was so sick.
Hello, I'm Anthony, the social lead here at Mojang, and like so many of you, I discovered Technoblade years ago when I started playing. He was a legend not just for his skill, but for the way that he made people feel connected, seen, and part of something so much bigger. For a lot of us here at Mojang, that connection runs incredibly deep. So we wanted to come together today as fans, creators, and the people lucky enough to work on the game Techno loves so much to say thank you, and congratulations on 20 million subscribers. Here are just a few voices from the team sharing how Technoblade inspired us, shaped our journeys, and left a legacy we'll never forget.
It would be crazy if Agnes and Jeb was here.
For the community, but his memory lives on, and we are so happy.
Why do people say
that he continues to have a
Agnes when it's
profound
Agnes?
impact across Minecraft and our player community.
I'm Christina, and I work here at Mojang with a lot of our up-and-coming Minecraft content creators, and something I hear over and over is what a big inspiration you've been. So thanks for kicking off an entire generation of gaming creators.
The biggest lesson I learned from Technoblade is that you can bring your authentic self into everything you do.
And on social media.
Actually makes you more successful. Technoblade has inspired
I don't know what that is actually.
not only in Minecraft, but
But
on
the
the
social,
internet as a whole.
the guy who does
And I'm so
the
honored to celebrate his legacy today.
Minecraft social media
Technoblade had a lot
stuff.
to teach us.
It's
The
really
community,
funny.
Mojang in general. He taught us how to have
Mojang.
self-confidence. He told us how to laugh at arrogance. He told us how to farm 500 million potatoes. So thank you, Technoblade.
Whether conquering hardcore mode with nothing but a steering wheel, becoming the undisputed Potato King in Hypixel Skyblock, or leading his team to victory twice.
Hypixel Skyblock mentioned by a
Technoblade's
Minecraft developer?
and infectious. Yet, beneath that competitive edge was a deep sense of camaraderie. He used competition not to build walls, but to forge connections, inspire laughter, and invite everyone to reimagine what's possible in our blocky universe. Through his creativity and relentless pursuit of excellence, Technoblade didn't just play Minecraft, he transformed it.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you,
he did.
Technoblade. You're deeply missed, and your legacy continues to inspire us all.
Other side.
Techno, you made every potato farm and PvP battle unforgettable. Thank you for the memories. Technoblade never dies!
Technoblade never dies.
Behind the crown was a son, a brother, and a friend. Alex played with passion and he lived with purpose. His genius wasn't just in clicks, but in kindness, and I am so proud of him. And even when the game paused, his impact didn't. Courage, laughter, community, resilience. His voice, literally and figuratively, continues to echo far beyond his last upload. Technoblade never dies, because we remember him on our screens, in our servers, and in our hearts. Congratulations on 20 million, son. You will always be my boy. Nobody deserves this more than you.
My name is Stacy, and I was Alex's stepmom. When I first entered the picture, Alex was a very introverted, recent high school grad. And I play very different kinds of video games than Alex did. Think
have a brother
New York
as
Times
well.
spelling bee, matching games, you get the
I can
picture.
imagine that.
Not super conducive to building a really deep relationship right off the bat. For a long time, I would say, "Hi, Alex, how are you doing? Having a good day?" And he would literally bow to me. That was it. But over time, I clearly became just part of the family, and he became used to me. That meant I was privy to all sorts of wonderful things, like his stomping around the house at 3 in the morning, muttering his lines, practicing them all the time, or slamming the microwave door at any hour of the morning when he was making his cheesy baked potatoes, or leaving his dishes on top of the dishwasher and letting me put them in the dishwasher, or cleaning up his Uber Eats remains. All good stuff. I was really happy, though, when Technodad invited him to join us to watch a show, The Queen's Gambit, all about chess, something that Alex had mastered at a young age. It was just a wonderful opportunity to be able to have a regular time.
He really
to spend
just
together,
maxed out
a shared
Minecraft
experience, a
and
chance
storytelling.
just to be together. And it gave me a chance also to learn
That's
more
all
about Alex.
skills,
But my
yeah.
favorite story was our wedding, which happened right here in this
This
studio
isn't even
in the middle
cook
of the
booth.
COVID pandemic. Technodad had asked Alex to be our best man, and as such, it fell to him to deliver the very first toast at our very small reception. Technodad had told me he was very nervous and had been thinking a lot about what to say, so I was incredibly curious about what he would do or say that evening. When he first started, super a la Technoblade, he said, "When Dad asked me to be best man, I thought, wait, isn't that nepotism?" You can imagine everyone laughed. But then he waited a minute and he said, "But seriously, I have never seen my dad as happy as he is with Stacy, and I'm grateful. Welcome to the family, Stacy. Congratulations, both of you." I can't even say how much it meant to me. It
Oh
made me
yeah,
feel
that is
seen,
nepotism.
accepted, and loved. Thank you, Alex.
You know, it's
That's
funny.
literally
Every day after
nepotism.
school, I'd see my brother coming down the stairs in passing. Every single time, without fail, he'd call me a nerd.
Jeez,
On brand, right?
so
Well,
weird.
I'd call him a nerd back. Sibling love, am I right?
I remember one moment in particular. We were on really late at night, just hanging out, and we hop into a voice call, him and a couple other people, and we're just chatting. And I remember him talking about his family. It wasn't like something we talked about a lot, but it was something that he brought up in this call that I was there with him, with the people
on
we were
Dream
chatting.
SMP.
And I could tell in just the little bit of a conversation that he had and the little bit of the stuff he said, he really loved and cared about his family. And that was something that like stood out to me in that moment, that he just brought it up and started chatting and being like, hey, you know, I won't go into the specifics, but it really showed to me that he loved his family and he cared about them. And that was very admirable. But not just admirable, it showed that he was just like, he was just a regular guy. He was a regular guy in spite of all of the talent that he had. And I don't know, I just really love that.
Something that I haven't talked too much about online is the fact that Techno and I actually became friends when we were both high schoolers. So I knew him for so many years, and I am so grateful to have known him because he was truly one of a kind. Like, just the funniest, most caring, and most giving, and like, he was full of good advice, and he was always so willing to help with anything that I needed. Like, especially like I would message him about something with YouTube, and he knew everything. I don't even understand. He really knew everything. He was so smart and just such a good friend. I just want to say thank you to everyone who continues to watch Techno's videos and continues to support him, because his channel was his pride and joy, and he made that clear, you know, even when he had 100,000 subscribers, he always knew that he was going to make it because he put so much into this. This was his everything, and I just appreciate all the people who are still trying their best to keep his legacy alive.
You know, whenever I hear about people's favorite Techno moment, it'll usually entail one of his great escapades, such as taking down the government or plotting to overtake a college kid and farming potatoes in a virtual world, which chain reacted into a world war lasting months, if not a year. Or maybe it's one of his great Bed Wars win streaks. But looking back, the moments that have been the craziest for me have just been random nerd references that just whiplash out of nowhere. For example, one day I just finished up school, coming home exhausted by myriad amounts of assignments due the following day. Now I recall it being a literature
I would love to
review,
keep
something
watching
I
those,
absolutely
but
hated. Now, I had to
unfortunately
read a ton of
I
literary
have
pieces
to end
and
it
write
here.
some essays about
It's
the
too late.
social implications of the romantic period. And of course, instead of doing that work, as any self-respecting techno fan would, I decided to put up one of his videos to procrastinate a little bit. And admittedly, I had completely forgotten about the assignment, which definitely isn't good.
Yeah,
but hey, I was
I'll keep on
enjoying my
watching
favorite
this
YouTuber.
off
What
screen,
I care?
but
That is
I
until,
have
you
to
know,
eat now.
moments later, I was just enjoying my downtime.
Thank you for
neglecting
watching.
my responsibilities.
And
When all of a
I
sudden,
will be watching.
I hear a haunting line
And
coming
Technoblade
from my very east
never dies.
of stress. I once met a traveler
Peace.
from an antique land. I recognize